Well, today I'd like to tell you a story from my younger years. This is from my Air Force years. I went into the Air Force right out of high school, went in with a couple of friends of mine, and we were transported by train down to Lackland Air Force Base. We were at Lackland Air Force Base for about 3 months. They said that anybody that was interested in going to school on aircraft and engine maintenance was going to be going up to Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. That was me. I was headed for Wichita Falls. A bunch of my friends and I, Mario Alessi, Al Zeff, we all went up to Shepherd Air Force Base. When we got up to Shepherd, I met a fellow there who was of Czech origin from the state of Texas, but he spoke Czech actually better than I did. He had more of a vocabulary. I learned Czech when I was just a little guy, and my vocabulary was a little bit limited. But he was brought up in a family that spoke Czech at home, and he had a very extensive vocabulary. So we used to talk in Czech, and I kind of enjoyed that. I had to finish my basic training up there, and I had 3 months left on my basic training, and then I had tech school that I was doing along with the basic training. So I was a busy boy. Well, this fellow, his name was Charles. Charles would talk to me, talk back and forth in Czech, and I understood most of what he said, but he started telling me about this very beautiful girl. Figured, okay, this is his girlfriend. He talked to me about the girl and how beautiful she was, and blonde hair and shapely, and he was really, and I thought, oh, that's great. You got a nice girlfriend. That's good. So we talked. About 3 weeks later, he comes up to me and he says, Gary, she's coming this weekend. I said, great, I'll be able to meet your girlfriend. He says, my girlfriend, no, she wants to go out with you. This is my sister. And I said, what? I was shocked because here I am on an Air Force base in basic training, not being able to even leave the base. So I said, well, what's the story? She said, well, my sister wants to date you. And she's coming here with my parents to visit with me. They live fairly close. They live not in Wichita Falls, but in a town close by. I said, well, okay, great. But I was a little perplexed because I don't know, what am I going to do with this girl that I can't even go off base? So I met the girl. She was way out of my league. She was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And this guy was pretty handsome. I mean, he was a tall guy with light hair, Czech descent. He had the Czech features, kind of like me, but better than me. And this sister of his was way out there. She was, whoo! Anyway, I said to her, I said, well, her name was Debbie. And I said, Debbie, what would you like to do? I said, I can't leave the base, so we have to do something here on base. She said, well, maybe we could tour the base. So I thought, okay, well, let's walk around the base. And on the base, there was a roller skating rink. And as we're going by the roller skating, I said, Debbie, would you like to go roller skating this afternoon? This was a Saturday afternoon, and a lot of the guys would go down to the roller skating rink just to have something to do on a Saturday afternoon, different from basic training. So she said, yeah, I'd love to go. I'd love to go roller skating. We went in and we rented the skates. And of course, it was a very minimal fee. I helped her put her skates on. And actually, when I put her skates on, I was holding her foot, and her legs were they went forever. And I was totally turned on. We started skating around the roller skating rink, and everybody is looking at me and saying, how did this guy get with this girl? How is this possible, you know? But I was very proud. I put my arm around her waist, and we're skating around. We're really enjoying ourselves. We're there about an hour and a half. I said, you know, this has been great. I said, but let's do something tonight. She says, well, I'm going to be eating supper with my mother and father and my brother. We have arrangements to eat. We went to the Airmen's Club, and at the Airmen's Club, the big feature there that night was Jack Arnold and his band. And their famous song was, I Got a Gal Named Bonnie Maroney. Well, this was the first dance. We got out on the dance floor, and it was, I got a gal named Boney Maroney. Bum, bum, ba-da, ba, ba-da, da, da, da. She's as skinny as a stick of macaroni. Bum, ba-da, ba, ba-da, da, da, da. I love her. She loves me. Oh, how happy we will be making love underneath the cherry tree. Well, the real song said apple tree, but Jack Arnold said it was a cherry tree. We had a lot of fun, and we lindied that song through and through. And then we danced a couple of slow dances. We got to know each other a little bit better. And then I found a kind of a little secluded corner in the Airmen's Club, a little place we could sit down in a booth that was kind of away from the crowd. We had a little bit of romantic session there, and it was really nice, really nice. It was really something I hadn't expected. It was very, very pleasurable. Let me say that. After this is over, she went to be with her mother and dad, and they left Sunday morning to go back to home where they lived in nearby Texas there. I got a couple of letters from her. We went and exchanged letters back and forth, just a couple. And then we realized that a long-distance relationship's not going to work for us. And I was very disappointed, to tell you the truth, because she was gorgeous. I finished my tech school there at Shepherd Air Force Base. And after I was done with tech school, I was assigned to a position at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. And I had a chance to go to Travis Air Force Base in California or Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. And they said, well, you choose West Coast, East Coast, but you have a choice because they're both military transport, and you're going to be working on heavy transport aircraft. So I chose Dover, and most of my friends chose Dover, so that we all went to Dover, and Charles went to Travis Air Force Base. So we kind of total lost our connection there. And I finished up at Shepherd Air Force Base, and then moved on to Dover Air Force Base. But that was the story of my little unexpected romantic session with Debbie. And I'll never forget Debbie. And that's the story. Thanks.